Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our February the 13th, 2018 council meeting. Just a few housekeeping items as usual. I just want to remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and they are televised. For everyone in attendance, if you have a cell phone, if you can just make sure that it's on the silenced mode, that would be very much appreciated. Judy Ann McCauley, again this evening, volunteers for our broadcast tonight. She is on the camera, and Judy Ann, we thank you again for your continued service. We have one ceremonial announcement today. This is respecting an upcoming event that Norfolk County has been selected to host. Tracy Haskett is here and making her way to the microphone at the podium. She really needs no introduction. She comes to us from the Development and Cultural Services Department. She's going to fill us in. Welcome, good to see you. I understand you have some good news.
I do. I have some excellent news. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you this afternoon. You will see in front of you a booklet, the Terroir Rural Retreat. A terroir is the word terroir. It represents how all environmental factors, soil, water, air, affect the crops and growth, in combination with the farming practices and the habitat. And in turn, this affects the flavor of the food that is grown here in Norfolk County. This document was prepared by myself in cooperation with our local Feast On restaurants, Burning Kiln Winery, Ontario Southwest Tourism Corporation. It was submitted to the Ontario Culinary Tourism Alliance in consideration for Norfolk County becoming a host for the annual Rural Retreat, taking place on April 24th, 2018. Now, Feast On is a certification program that recognizes that businesses committed to sourcing Ontario-grown food and drink. Norfolk County was the successful bid due to the supporting venues, Feast On restaurants, and our rich agriculture background. The Rural Retreat event follows an international food symposium taking place in Toronto, which many of our agriculture businesses are participating in. The Terroir Rural Retreat is a one-day media influencer event celebrating the best local food in Ontario. The impact is huge. The event hosts approximately 150 media influencers consisting of Canadian and international contacts. These influencers have many followers who can increase awareness of Norfolk County through social media. Many Feast On chefs from all over Ontario will be participating at this event, including 4 of our own chefs. They will be working with Norfolk County products, celebrating Norfolk's terroir. The local Feast On restaurants that are participating are the Blue Elephant, David's Restaurant, Erie Beach Hotel, and the Combine. Supporting our local farmers is important, especially for food service industry. It builds our local identity and puts dollars back into our economy. The team of businesses behind this event are very excited to boost awareness of Norfolk County. We're Ontario's garden, and this event will put Norfolk County on the world stage, where we deserve to be. So if you have any questions for me or Chris Baird, we'd be happy to answer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Tracy. This is indeed exceptionally good news for Norfolk County. Any questions from comments from members of council? Councillor Oliver, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Tracy, for that presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know whether you mentioned, is this an annual event? And if so, what are some of the other locations where this terroir has occurred in the past?
It is an annual event. This is their 11th year, and it's been held in Niagara and Prince Edward County and other places all over Ontario.
Anything further? Okay, thank you very much. And I have to say, just went through every page quickly, and obviously we'll read it. Very high quality, just an excellent job that our staff continues to do to promote what we have here.
I've also brought some apple cider donuts for everybody to share during break.
Oh, now you've really got their attention. Yeah, wind them up, then I got to reel them in, get some business done here. You may want to just leave, I wouldn't set them there beside Sonnenberg. Thank you very much, Tracy, and we look forward to the event on April the 24th. This is excellent. Thank you kindly for your time. There'll be lots of leftover sandwiches for staff in the morning. You got that, good. I'm going to the approval of the agenda or any changes. There are no changes to the agenda, so unless I hear from council members wishing to propose one, we will proceed to approve the agenda as presented. I have a motion moved by Councilor Wells, seconded by Councilor Brunton, that the agenda be approved as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, please. That is carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest to declare? This is the time if you have something on the agenda. I hear none, Mr. Clerk. We will go to our closed session at this time. Moved by Councilor Wells, seconded by Councilor Brunton. The council moved into a closed session at 3:06 p.m. pursuant to Section 239, 2E, F, and A of the Municipal Act 2001 as the subject matter pertains to litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications for that purpose, the security of the municipality or local board. Those in favor? That's carried. We will move to closed session. I'm thinking 15 minutes.
On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a Southern County home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, Norfolk, a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road, you're bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, Norfolk, On a strip of sandy soil lies a county called Norfolk. It's Ontario's south coast, you know, and it's surely not remote. If you pass through or spend a day or decide to call it home, you'll see why we love it here and are proud to call it our own. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Take in the small town atmosphere, be amazed at all that we grow. Like our kids that go and see the world and can't wait to return home. Drop a line in a placid lake or stroll along the shore. Take a tour on a peaceful country road and bound to be back for more. Of Norfolk, Norfolk, my southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. With hard work we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk, Norfolk, a southern county home. Norfolk, Norfolk, we know you can't go wrong with the friendly folk of Norfolk. You won't be a stranger long. Norfolk, 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 you won't be a stranger long.
Okay, we're back. That's the longest 15 minutes I've ever experienced. The time right now would be approximately 3:43. Moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Brunton, that council reconvene in open session at 3:43 PM. Those in favor? Thank you. That is carried, so we're back in regular session. We were in closed session to deal with a no right on red sign, intersection sign at Church and James? James? Yeah, James Street. I was only call it number 3, but it's James Street in Delhi. The bylaw is to be before us tonight, bylaw 2018-15 in your package. Councillor Wells.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'd like to put forth a motion that we table bylaw 2018-15 for further information.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Oliver. So Councillor Wells has moved and Councillor Oliver has seconded that bylaw 2018-15 be tabled. Mr. Clerk, there is no discussion or debate on a tabled motion?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes.
So we cannot discuss this, but we certainly can vote on it. It's moved and seconded. It is on the floor. I will call the question. All those in favor of tabling the bylaw? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those opposed? That is carried. So we will not be obviously dealing with 2018-15 this evening. You can fix that up a little bit later if it's in there. Thank you. Okay, we have our public meetings tonight scheduled as always for 5 o'clock, and until we get in the next hour, we will certainly get as much of this council agenda completed as possible. We have a staff report 18-009 from Health and Social Services. This is the Norfolk County Smoke-Free Outdoor Spaces Bylaw. Gentlemen, it's on page 7. How are you tonight? Michelle, are you going to present this? Excellent, thank you. I'll turn it over to you, please. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So by way of staff report HS 1707, Norfolk County Smoke-Free Outdoor Spaces Bylaw, the Board of Health had endorsed and approved the draft bylaw 2017-58 to regulate smoking in outdoor spaces and recreation properties. Subsequently, this draft bylaw did not receive council approval, and staff were directed to complete further work with respect to fine structure, prohibition of persons on county land, beaches, and municipal golf courses. Feedback and advice were obtained from advisory committee on how best to address these specific concerns, and a memo outlining revised bylaw was presented at the Board of Health on December 5th, 2017. So before you in this report, draft bylaw modifications can be found in a table on pages 2 and 3, and they clearly outline the original draft subsections and the related revised draft. So I'll just take a moment to go over the portions that were revised. So starting with fine structure, there was some concern regarding the set fine and maximum fine amount of $10,000. The revised bylaw sets the fine at $250 for smoking or holding lit tobacco, and this is the same level as the Smoke-Free Ontario Act. In terms of prohibition of person on county lands, the clause to prohibit people from attending the property for up to a year has been removed. The Health Unit does recommend a progressive enforcement approach, including education and warnings, with the option of giving notice or direction to a person to leave the recreational property before charges are issued. With respect to beaches, there was concern around the bylaw, including an extension of 20 meters into waters of Lake Erie from all land. The revised bylaw does not extend into the water, and no enforcement will occur on private property unless it is requested in writing by a property owner. With respect to municipal golf courses, any reference to municipal golf courses has been removed, given Norfolk County does not currently have any. And so in conclusion, successfully moving forward with the implementation of a smoke-free outdoor spaces bylaw for Norfolk County will ensure equitable protection for residents and visitors from exposure to secondhand smoke, positive role modeling for our children and youth, improved cessation rates, reduced cigarette butt litter, as well as economic and tourism benefits. So that completes my presentation of the revised bylaw, and I'm happy to answer any questions should you have any.
Thank you, Michelle Line, for this report. There certainly are questions. I'll start with Councillor Brunton.
Thank you, Mayor Luke, and thank you, Michelle. I'm sorry my back is to you, but the question of the beaches has kind of got me puzzled here. Do I read this right that, and I'll try to use an example like Turkey Point Beach? Right now, that's a provincial beach, I believe, the area. So people can or cannot smoke on that beach.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, so with this bylaw, we would be proposing that they wouldn't be allowed to smoke on the beach. Signage, of course, for the bylaw would not be posted on the provincial land. It would be on Norfolk County land that's just adjacent to the land. And we would be able to enforce on the Crown land. However, we wouldn't be able to enforce against Crown employees on the land. They would be the exception.
Well, my understanding is we only have one beach, and that's in Port Dover. Am I correct? It's municipal? One municipal beach. So if we, and I look at Long Point, so if somebody, any of the beaches, when you go through the walkways at Long Point, once you go through the walkway, I assume the walkways are ours, but the beach is public again, but it's not municipal. So people, you're saying, can't smoke there again. Or they are only enforced in that area by complaint in writing?
So if I may, I'd like to introduce Amy Jones. She's our
Right.
tobacco enforcement officer, and she'll be able to answer that.
So that would be the crown land subject to provincial parks?
Excuse me, just for a moment. We'll need a microphone
Oh,
for you.
sorry.
We want to hear. That's okay. Thank you very much.
So that would fall under like the same as the provincial land, where the crown land would be prohibited, except for the employees working on the crown land, of the crown land.
But we're going to enforce the Crown land
Yes,
by complaint.
by complaint, yes. And also for hot spots. If there's hot spots, we would go out and proactively enforce it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Black, please.
The same line of thinking, and I just got an email from a lady down in Long Point, and I know in the past, she's been told that Norfolk County has no jurisdiction on Crown land or provincial land. And yet, here we are having the ability to enforce on Crown land. So, is there any explanation for that? Like, maybe that's unfair of staff, but I don't know if county manager could answer that one. It's like been told we don't have any jurisdiction on the beach, and now we're saying we do have jurisdiction on the beach.
Mr. Cribbs?
It's an interesting series of case law on exactly this point that arose throughout the late 80s and early 90s across this country. Originally, municipal smoking bans were challenged in airports. Airports are federal jurisdiction, right? And the question was, and also at a couple of harbors, because those are also typically federal jurisdiction if you're an international port. And whether municipal bylaws could be extended to cover them. And then about 2 years ago, there's a big case on property taxes at Pearson Airport, and whether a municipality could tax the businesses there. The long and the short of it is, because it's a really long, tortured legal analysis, but you get to the point of what is the pith and substance of what you're trying to do. Health and safety is clearly a provincial concern. We're creatures of the province. We're, right, pursuant to the Municipal Act, they create us. So we're enacting their health and safety concern to the limited capacity that it impinges upon another order of government's authority. So generally speaking, we can't pass bylaws that talk about how to operate airports because that's federal jurisdiction, but we can pass bylaws that say you can't smoke at an airport because that doesn't go to how you operate an airport. It goes to a health and safety concern that's a provincial jurisdiction, and it covers land that's within our geographic territory. So the short answer, if this was short, my version of short, is generally speaking you can, even though a different order of government owns the land, provided you're clearly within your own mandate, and clearly there are municipal smoking bylaws around Ontario.
So again, I guess it depends on what laws you're trying to enact. In some cases you can, some cases you can't. So, okay, I get it. Thank you for the explanation. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Councillor Wells?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I just want to congratulate staff. Certainly the three changes, the reduced fines are certainly going from 10,000 to 250. I think that's reasonable. And the other one, progressive enforcement, I certainly think that's a very positive way of approaching this situation. And with regard to the private beaches, I think we're doing everything in our power not to come down with a big stick and give people warning that they should not be smoking on beaches. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Columbus?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple questions. Does this direction for such a bylaw come down from the province of Ontario?
Hi, through Mr. Mayor. Yeah, so we are mandated through our Ontario Public Health Standards to work with municipalities on creating healthy public policies. So this would fit within that.
Okay, so when we're looking at municipal golf courses, I know we don't have any, but Turkey Point Golf Course is owned by the Ontario government, province of Ontario. So do we have any jurisdiction over that, or is it exempt?
As far as I know, we don't have any jurisdiction over that, and there's no implication that we would want to include that. The Smoke for Ontario Act excludes golf courses for the sole reason that they're adult-based entertainment. So they take the golf courses right out of the Smoke for Ontario Act.
So the municipal golf course would be exempt, and the Turkey Point Golf Course would be exempt. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we've taken out all references to golf courses, municipal or otherwise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Oliver.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I share Councillor Wells's comments regarding thanks to staff for making an effort to improve this thing to make it a little more reasonable, and I know you've tried to do that. I will admit, though, Councillor Brunton cast a little bit of uncertainty in my mind relative to the beaches. So I guess my only question, Mr. Mayor, to staff, did staff specifically talk with MNRF relative to us enforcing our bylaw on their beaches, both Turkey Point and Long Point? Are they aware of this bylaw? Did you consult with them relative to our intention to enforce the bylaw on those provincial park beaches in any way?
So through you, Mr. Mayor. No, we haven't been in consultation yet. And if I may just remind, in terms of the bylaw and the spirit of the bylaw and how it's written and looking at evidence and best practice, the goal of a bylaw really is to establish social norms and to really allow people to understand what's acceptable versus what's not acceptable in certain areas and situations. So if I can use as an example specific to this in terms of secondhand smoke and exposure, if you remember not so long ago, people were allowed to smoke in bars and restaurants. And when we first brought in the ban for smoking in bars and restaurants, we were questioned as well on how are we going to enforce that. But with bylaws of this nature, they are self-enforcing and there is evidence to support that, and specific to smoke-free outdoor space bylaws. Toronto has conducted many studies in theirs as well, and what they do find is that we're shifting the social norm, and I think that probably most of us can agree that when we go into a bar and restaurant now, it's not socially acceptable to light up. We don't need enforcement officers in there. It's shifting that social norm, and that's the spirit that this bylaw is written in.
I appreciate that, Michelle, and I understand that. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the wording that we have now. I guess I would have perhaps preferred that we do some consultation with MNRF as, if you like, a private beach owner, even though it is the Crown, and to have ensured that they were aware of our intention and they would have raised a red flag if they didn't like it for whatever reason. But you've answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brunton.
Just going back on page